Lesson 12.7, Probability and Odds. Complementary events are two events where one event or the other, but not both, must occur. An example of this is flipping a coin. You can get heads or tails, but you cannot get both. Unfavorable outcome is once you specify the event for which you are finding the probability, outcomes of the event are called favorable. The other outcomes are unfavorable. You could probably even just put the other outcomes that you don't want. Again, erase that. The other outcomes that you don't want are unfavorable outcomes. Odds are when all outcomes are equally likely. The odds in favor of an event are equal to the ratio of favorable outcomes to unfavorable outcomes. You can start where it says the ratio of favorable outcomes to unfavorable outcomes. Example 1, finding probabilities. Your CD player has a random play feature in which songs are played in any order. You play a CD that has 10 songs using the random play feature. What is the probability that your favorite song on the CD is played first? Let's go back to when we talked about the formulas for probability. It is your favorable outcome over your total. So it's favorable over total is the probability. So the probability that your favorite song is first, favorable over total possible, and you could say total or possible. Well, how many songs are your favorite? Well, it says favorite song, so it's only one. How many songs are possible that you could play on the CD? 10. What is the probability that your favorite song on the CD is not played first? Well, to figure out that, we take 1 minus the probability of your favorite song being played first. You can see that the probability that event A occurs and the probability that event A does not occur have a sum of 1. That's why we can take 1 minus to get how the probability of it not occurring. So 1 minus 1/10 is 9/10. You're given the probability that the event will occur. Find the probability that will not occur. So to find the probability that it will not occur, take 1 minus the probability that it will occur. Pause the video and try 1 through 5. 1 minus 2/3 is 1/3. 1 minus 15/100 is 85/100. 1 minus 54%, change it to a decimal, then change it back to a percentage, is 46%. You could have also thought about 1 as in 100%. Minus 54% is 46%. Then 1 minus 3/8 is 5/8. For number 5, the 12 letters in the word Pennsylvania are each written on pieces of paper and put in a bag. Let's talk about the probability of randomly drawing an N from the bag. So you want favorable over total. How many N's are there? There are 3 N's out of the total number 12. The probability that it's not going to occur is 1 minus 3/12, which is, and you can simplify it, this actually does end up as 9/12, and then you simplify to 3/4. I simplify 3/12 into 1/4. Finding odds. The formula for odds I would write this down. In favor, this is important to note, odds in favor is the favorable outcome over the unfavorable outcome. When you add those two together, you'll get the total, but you can see the total is not in the numerator or denominator. So the results of a survey asking your class to name their favorite type of restaurant are shown at the right. What are the odds in favor of a randomly chosen student from your class naming Diner? Diner was named by how many students? 8. So there are 8 favorable outcomes. Pizza was named by 11, seafood by 6, and vegetarian by 3. So how many are unfavorable? So add together 11 plus 6 plus 3. There are 20 unfavorable outcomes. Your odds in favor, this is wrong, this should be unfavorable. Over 20. Remember, the total possible would have been 28. When I add that together, the total is 28. And I can check that by going back and adding up everything. 2/5 is your answer. The odds in favor of randomly choosing a student that's named Diner are 2 to 5. Odds are always read as a ratio. For example, 7 over 3 is read 7 to 3, not 7/3. Again, read it as a ratio. For guided practice 6 and 7, you choose a tile at random from a bag of 26 letter tiles, labeled A through Z. Find the odds in favor of an event. Remember, odds in favor is your favorable over your unfavorable. Pause the video, try 6 and 7. Always simplify if you can. You choose a letter D. Well, there's only one letter D in a bag of 26 letters labeled A through Z. And by the way, I don't believe the letters repeat. The unfavorable outcome would be 25, so 1 out of 25. You choose a constant. Well, out of 26 letters, how many are vowels? A, E, I, O, U, and I'm not going to count Y. So subtract 5 from that, that's how many are unfavorable, and it would be 21 are constants out of 5. Which are unfavorable. Again, this would be your constants, which are your favorable, and this would be your vowels, which is what you don't want to pick. We can find odds using probability. You hit the bullseye of a dartboard with 12% of your dart throws. What are the odds in favor of your hitting the bullseye in a throw? This is hitting the bullseye. The percentage that you're not going to hit, because remember this is favorable over unfavorable, is 1 minus that 0.12, which is 0.88. In order to change this and simplify it, you have to change it so that there's no longer decimal points. So I'm going to multiply the numerator and denominator by 100. Why 100? Because that's the 100th place. You have 12 over 88. Simplify to 3/22. Your odds in favor of hitting the bullseye are 3 to 22. Remember, we read it as a ratio. 3 to 20. Before I end the presentation, I'm going to write down a couple of formulas you need to know. First of all is probability that an event will occur. And that is your favorable over your total. the probability that an event will not occur is actually going to be 1 minus the probability that it will occur. Actually, instead of doing that, I could just put 1 minus your favorable over your total. Odds in favor is your favorable outcome over your unfavorable. To use probability to find the odds, so use probability to find odds, you would take the favorable over 1 minus the favorable, which is really just taking favorable over unfavorable. Make sure you have this written down so you can refer back to it as you do your practice problems.